what's up, everybody? Hope you're having a fantastic day. Today we're going to discuss why Chapter 10, The Passenger of the Mandalorian, is better than you think. Yeah, some people thought this was Chapter 10, The Passenger, was like kind of filler. But, the more you step back and take a look at what this show really is, it's episodic. Each episode is its own journey. Now, some episodes move the plot along a little more than others, but each episode kind of has its own self-contained story to it, while moving the bigger story along a little slower. Some people thought this one didn't move the story a whole lot, but it did some really cool things, really good things for me. Number one, it shows Mando's interaction with the New Republic and where he stands in the galaxy between the New Republic and the remnants of the Empire. You see that conversation between the two New Republic pilots before they chase him down. And he even mentions almost before he leaves, may the Force be with you. And, we've wondered if he's seen to close off from the Jedi, knowing what these things are, but I think that's just kind of a common saying they've just been thrown around the galaxy that, most everybody's heard. So I think that's why he knew that. But then as he got away from them, he's, later on, towards the end, they helped him rescue him from the giant spiders and all the little ones too. But, they didn't help him fix his ship. So, they helped him, but they could have helped him more. He's in that kind of middle ground. He's not necessarily the enemy, but he's riding in between the lines, kind of. He's doing his own thing, which isn't their top priority, the New Republics, but they're still, he's on their radar now. And it's interesting to see him ride that line in between New Republic and what's left of the Empire. That's why I like this show so much. It deals with kind of the bounty hunters, the underworld, kind of all the grimy, kind of in the dirt, rough and tough aspects of the galaxy. You really see it represented in this show. And two, you've seen the growth between Mando and the child and how far they've come. Because at the beginning of this episode, he has that interaction on Tatooine where those bounty hunters are, clotheslining him off the speeder, and it blows up, and they get the child, and he holds the child hostage until he gives him his jetpack, which he's the fool because he shot him up in the air and he came back down just plopping. But it really, and then when you've seen the child just run back to Mando, that he's such, like, you could just, if he could talk, he'd be saying, "Dad, Dad." And this episode 2 shows a lot as far as Mando being the father figure, having to watch the child throughout the episode, with him watching for his safety with these spiders, and also with him having to be a little forceful and show Baby Yoda right from wrong as far as eating these eggs. No, can't eat this frog lady's eggs. This is the last of her life cycle of her eggs. You can't do that. No. And he had to stay on him for that. It wasn't just a one-time thing. He has to do that. And kids are like that now. You'll tell them and they'll keep going back to it. They're kids, but really expands on their dynamic and how they've grown over time in this episode. And also the comparison between Mando and the child alongside Frog Lady and her eggs.
Oh yeah, Kermit's got the googly eyes for Miss Frog Lady. Ribbit, ribbit. He wants to take her out on the finest lily pad he can find for a date. And maybe even crack open a bottle of hopscotch. You never know with Kermit.
It shows two parents having to take care of their young and doing whatever for them, whatever it takes for them to stay safe. And I thought that was a really cool parallel because, Mando is trying to keep the child safe from all these bounty hunters, from what's left of the Empire, from Moff Gideon, and also the Frog Lady is trying to keep her eggs safe. She has to be brought to this planet so they can be born by a certain time, or else they're going to die. And, it's not just, let's go, through the hyperspeed to do it. Can't do that because they'll die. So it's a little more complicated. So you have Mando protecting the child from bounty hunters, what's left of the Empire, and these spiders in this episode, and the Frog Lady protecting it from is racing against time for her unborn for her eggs, and against the spiders. So it was a cool parallel to have them working together and both protecting and doing whatever they need to do to keep both of their young safe. Mando being with his adopted kind of child, and then Frog Lady with her eggs, soon to be born. And I think this is more of a character episode. It moves the plot along a little, not a whole lot, but there's a lot done with character in this episode. And the dips and dives and detours this show takes episode by episode is quite refreshing. But some people consider some filler, but the way the show's episodic, and it continues to show many different layers of this Star Wars universe, and is able to flesh out certain things so much more than a movie, because you're allowed to have them slow moments along with the jam-packed action sequences, and it's allowed to take its time with different culture, different aliens and their cultures and their beliefs and just the way they live, and possibly even shedding a new light on the way these creatures lives, or the way these live, and so on and so forth. There's many examples, but this show has the room to expand on so many ideas that we once knew, and even ones we didn't know. They're able to fill in so much space with so much info, and also Easter eggs, but they're not always in your face. They're subtle. I think that's why the general audience loves this, because they don't necessarily know catch all those little things, but us big fans do. So they can still enjoy it without even catching a lot of those things, but yet the big fans enjoy it even more for those reasons. And two, again, once you realize this show is more of an episodic, like an old time, Western kind of, the more you will enjoy it. I do believe. And it'll impact the way you look back at the entire season. It has great fluctuations of content, whether different planets, creatures, themes, and so many different things it touches on throughout a season, while still moving the plot at what it seems like a slower pace, but we still get so much info, whether plot, or it just adds so much layers to this Star Wars universe that makes it so much richer and fuller. And then last, this episode shows a little dark humor with Baby Yoda and the eggs. It's the last of her life cycle that she can have, and yet Baby Yoda's popping them like it's nothing, and Mando's just struggling to try and keep up and try and keep him from doing this before there's none left. Luckily, they get to Trask and there's still some left. But I think she noticed that some was going to be gone. But I could be wrong. But yeah, that's a little kind of refreshing for a little dark humor in Star Wars, because I mean, yeah, we've got it here and there, but that surprised me, to be honest. It shows they're willing to take risk, whether it's this, something like this, or if it's stuff they're starting to include and pull from legends, video games, books. We've already seen this with Cobb Vanth, a book character, minor kind of book character coming to life on through the Mandalorian. So who knows? And then also Bo-Katan coming from animated Clone Wars into live action. So many exciting things happening due to them taking risk in this show. So that'll do it for this. About my thoughts on why Chapter 10, The Passenger of The Mandalorian, is better than you think. And if you like this video, give it a like, thumbs up. If you want to see more videos like this, you can subscribe also. And I hope to see you soon. Until then, this is the way.